Hey, what's up? This is Andy from Murder. You're listening to Mag.
They are this murder will release your sixth album, Godlike, on September 15th, mate. So how are you feeling about it?
Feeling really good. We're only 5 weeks away from the album being out for everyone to hear. It's pretty exciting, especially when you worked on something for so long and you kind of have to keep it to yourself. So I'm looking forward to getting some feedback from the wider community and the fans.
Yeah, so after six albums, mate, do you guys have a set process that you go through for each album, or does it differ from album to album?
No, it's pretty much the same. We get together, write some riffs, put some songs together as best we can, and meet up with our producer, Will Putney, and finish the job. Normally takes 4 to 6 weeks. Last year we spent I want to say like 6 months kind of piecing the thing together with lots of breaks here.
So can you tell us a bit more about Godlike from a musical point of view, mate, and what you were going for with it?
I can tell you too much really. We're just trying to step things up quite a bit. We had a lot of time off, a lot of time to think of new ideas, a lot of time to think about where we were thinking of taking the band in the future. So just trying to incorporate some groovier elements, bigger choruses, and imagine, what we could put on the CD that's going to help elevate the band to the next level of its career.
And the press release, like along those lines, bro, like the press release says that Godlike sees the band explore new depths and dynamics. Would you agree with that statement?
Yep.
Yeah, how so?
Uh, well, after having so much time off, you kind of lose a lot of your habits when you're talking about guitar playing and songwriting and everything. So whenever we came up with a new sound, we would probably just revert back to what we usually do. But this time around, we tried exploring those ideas a little bit more. And because we had so much time, we were able to experiment a lot more. Normally, making an album in 4 or 6 weeks, it's working long hours, day in, day out, and you don't have much time to sit back and think about things. So this time, having that extra wiggle room really helped us out, exploring new territory.
And by now, mate, the whole world has heard the single Join Me in Armageddon. So would you say that's a good sonic representation of what to expect?
I think it's a good representation of where we want to go towards in the future, for sure. Stripping things back, allowing there to be some impact, adding some more groovier elements to the music. We found that songs that have like a little bit more groove in them carry across a bit better in the live setting. Sometimes with the PAs and the wind outdoors, the sound systems, the faster stuff gets kind of washed away by the wind. So we thought this was something that we could focus on that'll help us out with the live show in the future. I think that's a pretty good, well-rounded idea of, where we're trying to take things.
And you guys have always been known to be very proactive when it comes to having opinions in your music. So what are some of the themes explored on Godlike?
Plenty, we had a lot to think about. Shore of Dreams touches on the war in Ukraine. Kris talks about how a lot of people manipulate the world from behind closed doors and start a lot of conflict for their benefit without actually having to get their hands dirty. Blood Throne, very similar, talking about people that are capitalizing on the blood, sweat, and tears of those below them.
And she's also your first album released 100% independently through your own label, Human Warfare. So how does that change things?
Not too much, to be honest. A lot of people were saying that they thought that we were going to have this creative freedom from the label, but Nuclear Blast never came to the studio and told us what to do and what not to do. It just gives us scheduling freedom in the future. We're able to make the records work in time with the touring. If we want to take a year off from making an album, we're allowed to do that now because we don't need to borrow money off the label. So, just getting to truly, truly work for yourself.
Yeah, cool. And the cover image is wicked too, mate. Like it's basically just a skeleton on the cover, but it's really striking and effective, mate. Like where did it come from?
I just knew that we wanted something that looked kind of ancient and weathered, but also knew that we wanted to have a modern artist tackle the idea, which is sort of representative of the title Godlike, like the past, the present, and the future, something that's eternal. So having something that looked weathered and old and kind of beat up, but painted by someone who's deploying very modern and futuristic art techniques, was our way of meshing like the old and the new together. The cover art is not really just a 2D painting. It's actually a 3D sculpture.
Oh, wow.
And then it's been painted digitally as well. So it would be cool to find a way to animate it and have people be able to explore around the album cover, but we just haven't figured a way out yet.
Not
Plus
yet.
a fair bit of money to do that. Yeah. Yeah.
And yourself and Sean actually stopped playing guitars during the COVID period in the lead up to this album process, mate. So how did that affect things when you picked it back up again?
I think it's made everything fresh and exciting. We usually play a couple hundred shows a year, which means we're playing guitar quite a bit, and also means that we're just playing by art songs quite a bit. So having 2 years off just lets your mind wander and think of new things. And even when you come back a little bit rusty, it makes you come up with new ideas because your hands might not be as speedy as they used to be.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It doesn't really go hand in hand, though, does it? Putting the guitar down for 2 years and coming back a better player.
I think it kind of does, to be honest. Maybe not a better player, but a more well-rounded songwriter for sure. Because you're led more by your brain at that point and less by the muscle memory in your fingers.
So how would you say the sound of Die Artist Murder has changed, mate, from your debut album, The Adversary, in 2010 to Godlike?
I think it's just become more refined, you know. We're not ashamed of any of our last 5 records. We think that they're all fantastic, but it's just been a slow process of perfecting the sound. Obviously, who we are as people has changed over the last 12 years. So what we want the band to sound like has all changed. What we've just got better at getting as close to having it sound the way we want as possible.
And earlier this year, you completed your first tour in a fair while when you celebrated the 10th anniversary of the album Hate. So how did that go?
I think it was a smashing success.
Yeah.
Sold out most of the gigs, did a couple thousand in Sydney and Melbourne. So it was the biggest headline tour that we've ever done in Australia.
And did something like doing a tour to celebrate 10 years of one particular album, like, did it sort of give you scope to reflect on your career to date and where you want to sort of push it in the future a bit more?
Absolutely, it does. You know, going back and playing a record from start to finish from over 10 years ago is a bit of a trip down memory lane, not only for the songs, but for the time that we spent putting the album together so long ago. And it was pretty validating to be able to take a record that we used to tour and play 200 to 300 capacity venues, to see that material is good enough to perform in front of 2,500 people a night was pretty rewarding.
So Godlike comes out on September 15th, mate, but what's next for Die Artist Murder after that? What do you got planned?
In 7 weeks, and today we kick off a tour of Europe.
Yeah.
As this morning, we sold 28,500 tickets already. So
wow.
It's already the biggest tour that we've ever headlined. And we're looking forward to upping the ante and increasing the size of our production and trying to put on the best show for our fans as possible.
Very good, mate. All right. Well, thanks very much for your time today. Godlike is out September 15th, and it's another crushing slab of brutality from Die Artist Murder. So best of luck with it, brother.
Thank you very much.
No worries, mate. Enjoy your day.
Yeah, you too.